Signals is the 23rd episode of the first season of The Middle. This is directed by Jamie Babbit, and as always, there will be spoilers as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. And there are a couple of different parts of the narrative that I'll discuss, but everything that ties together really nicely. And Axel is wanting to clean the pool, which establishes the fact that they're soon to be having a barbecue because springtime has arrived. And meanwhile, Brick has his social skills performance and Sue has decided to go to church youth group, and they ultimately tie together at the end, but I'll talk about them in turn. First of all, with Sue, she meets Reverend TimTom, who is a brilliant character. He's played by Paul Hipp, and he's fantastic. He's the singing, roving Reverend. He really gets teens, and Sue is a little bit in love. For the first time in her life, she has found somebody who seems to understand her. And unfortunately, he's actually moving to his next parish after the upcoming field trip. And Sue thinks it's because of money. So she goes around trying to raise money to pay for him to stay a little bit longer. But it turns out that actually he's moving on because that's what he does. He moves from town to town to help teens and connect with teens and then move on to the next town. And Sue's obviously devastated, but he has some pearls of wisdom for her and some really uplifting messages. And I'll just say that it's not the last we see of Reverend TimTom. I won't say any more than that, but I do think the character is really brilliant. And it was so sweet that he came to the barbecue. And he also mentioned Sue Heck by name. He referred to her as Sue Heck. And she's absolutely over the moon because he remembered her name. He's such a wonderful character. So that part of the narrative I really liked. It meant we had some great music because he was singing some songs. I really liked the songs in this. So that was pretty great. But the part of the narrative I loved the most, and I actually found it to be quite moving and emotional, and maybe that's largely because I'm definitely team Mike and Brick in this episode, is the narrative focusing on them, because I feel like I'm completely on their side when it comes to having to socialise and not wanting to and wanting to just do things your own way and be on your own. I'm definitely in agreement with them there. And it starts off with Brick and his class giving his social skills performance. It's really sweet. It's showcasing how to correctly have a conversation. It's good fun. And Mike tells Brick that he could actually be a better role model because he's not exactly the most sociable person. So at the barbecue, they're going to try together. They're going to practice their social skills at the barbecue as a team, and that melted my heart. I thought that was so sweet. And while Bob is manning the meat tongs at the barbecue, off Mike and Brick go, and we see examples of them talking to people. As much as I loved this part of the narrative, I will say I didn't love the fact that Brick got punched twice. I mean, I'm never going to love Brick getting punched, but it just felt really unnecessary and kind of suggested that if you try and talk to people out of your comfort zone, you're just going to get hit. And I didn't love the direction it took. I didn't find it funny. I don't think it offered anything at all. And it could actually discourage people from stepping out of their comfort zone. So not only did it not offer anything, I also feel like it was actually a bit of a hindrance to Brick and to anybody watching it. But the rest of it is really great. Mike ends up listening to somebody's relationship troubles in the kitchen, and she kind of thought Mike was flirting with her, which was very awkward. But I do love the fact that Mike told Frankie about this, and Frankie just wasn't bothered. Frankie's response was pretty funny. And the scene that I loved the most is when, at the end of the day, Mike and Brick are both lying on the bed, and beautifully shot, great camera angles, and they both realise that they're meant to be who they're meant to be, and that they're both happy with the way they do things. It's not like they wish they were more sociable, so why should they try and change? And I loved that. I thought that was really beautiful, not just because the message is really sweet and uplifting, but also because it was a lovely moment of father and son bonding. Two people who are also not that sociable, even within their own family, having a really nice conversation. And it melted my heart. I thought it was beautiful, and ultimately a really beautiful part of the episode. Signals as a whole is a solid episode, great introduction to Reverend TimTom. And in general, I can't fault it. Definitely a really strong episode of The Middle. and I'm sure it's an episode I'll always really thoroughly enjoy.